Have you ever thought about how a person's greatest strength can also be their biggest weakness? Well, today we're diving into a story just like that. It's about a man whose incredible generosity gets turned against him, and how he has to use more than just kindness to fight back and clear his name. Okay, so to really get this story, we first need to understand this central idea, the Danveer. Now, this isn't just someone who gives a little here and there. We're talking about a person whose entire identity is built on charity. For a Danveer, giving isn't just an action, it's a fundamental way of life. And this is our main character, Bhushan, in a nutshell. I mean, picture this. He's about to have his only meal of the day when a hungry beggar shows up. What does he do? Without a second thought, he hands over his entire plate. He gets more satisfaction from seeing that person eat than from feeding himself. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with. Now, here's where the tension really starts to build. You have Bhushan's worldview, which is all about finding peace through giving, and right next door, you have his neighbor, Madanlal, who looks at him and just sees a fool, a sucker who's basically asking to be taken advantage of. It's this complete clash of philosophies that sets the whole story in motion. So we've seen Bhushan the giver, but now his character is about to be tested in a whole new way, not by poverty, but by a really ugly injustice. We're about to watch him transform from a simple giver into a fierce protector. And it all happens one morning. Bhushan sees his neighbor Birju hitting his wife right out in the open. He doesn't just look away. He steps in, calls the guy out in front of everybody. When Birju doesn't back down, Bhushan slaps him. And that one slap, it's like a thunderclap. It's not just about violence, it's a moral statement, and the whole village hears it loud and clear. For the villagers who've been suffering under a corrupt leader named Sajan Singh, this act of courage is everything. It's like a light bulb goes on. In that one moment, they stop seeing Bhushan as just a nice guy. They see a leader. They see a way out. But as you can probably guess, when you become the people's champion, you also become a huge threat to the person in power. And the Sarpanch, Sajan Singh, has absolutely no intention of just stepping aside. And you can just hear the mix of disgust and fear in the Sarpanch's voice here. He doesn't see Bhushan as a noble rival. He sees him as this pathetic bug that needs to be squashed. And right then and there, a really vicious plan starts to form in his mind. The plot itself is just devastatingly simple and cruel. Bhushan actually wins the election. But on his very first day distributing food as the new leader, Sajan Singh secretly messes with the rations. He takes Bhushan's first big act of generosity and turns it into a weapon to destroy him. And just like that, everything flips. The same people who were cheering his name are now screaming for his head. They feel betrayed, they're angry, and they banish him from the village in total disgrace. It's a really stark reminder of how quickly trust can shatter. So, Bhushan is exiled, heartbroken, and he could have just given up, but he doesn't. Instead, it dawns on him, he was framed. And in that moment, something inside him shifts. The victim disappears and a strategist is born. He's ready to play a whole new game. His first move is brilliant. He just vanishes. For a whole month, he's gone. He lets his enemies think they've won. And he lets a very specific rumor spread that he took his own life in the forest, completely broken by the shame. Let's just walk through this master plan. It's not about force. It's pure psychological warfare. Disappear. Let them think you're dead. Make sure that story sticks. Then, come back as a ghost and use your enemy's own superstition and guilty conscience to make him confess. It's genius. And boy, does it work. When Bhushan shows up one night, looking like a spirit back from the dead, Sajan Singh absolutely falls apart. He's not seeing the man he framed. He's seeing a vengeful ghost. He immediately starts begging, offering up everything he owns just to save his own skin. That panicked, rambling confession is exactly what Bhushan needed. It sets the stage perfectly for the grand finale. And this time, it's not going to happen in the shadows. It's going to happen in front of the entire village. Following the ghost's orders, a terrified Sajan Singh wakes everyone up. And there, in the middle of the night, the truth finally comes out. Not because Bhushan argued his case, but because it was spilled from the mouth of the guilty man himself. And then, the big reveal. Bhushan steps out of the darkness. He explains his whole plan. And in that moment, everyone sees that he's not just the kind, simple man they kicked out. He's a wise, strategic leader who just outsmarted his enemy, to bring the truth to light.
So justice is served. Sajan Singh is banished. The villagers apologize and they make Bhushan their sarpanch again. But this time it's different. They don't just admire his kindness anymore. They have a newfound respect for his intelligence. And in his final act, Bhushan shows his true character once more. He forgives them.
And that's what we're left with, isn't it? This really makes you think. Bhushan's journey shows that true strength isn't just about being generous. It's also about having the wisdom to fight back against injustice and the incredible grace to forgive the very people who turned on you. It really poses the question, where do you draw the line between